Ever wondered what the oldest living things on Earth do when you're not looking? That ancient bristle cone, Methuselah, is actually pulling a night shift. Photosynthesis's graveyard crew, swapping CO2 for oxygen while you're scrolling TikTok.
Aha, Doodles.
Turns out, Methuselah's not alone. Every night, California's 3,000-year-old giant sequoias throw a silent disco, their roots chatting via fungal Wi-Fi while you're drooling on your pillow. The trees have been doing their night shift for 400 million years, long before humans even existed. In fact, redwoods in California's Muir Woods sweat up to 500 gallons of water nightly, like a giant, leafy gym session after dark. Even the tiny quaking aspens in Colorado shift carbon dioxide at night, like tiny, leafy DJs spinning tracks. It turns out trees have an internal circadian rhythm, like a built-in timer, that kicks in when the sun dips low. That timer's actually run by a hormone called auxin. Think of it as the tree's phone alarm that says, "Hey, sun's gone. Time to tuck in those leaves." Turns out, trees have a built-in nightlight. Studies show redwoods lower their branches by up to 4 inches after dark to conserve energy. Researcher Susan Simard found that trees like these talk to each other through fungi, kinda like a forest Facebook. Meet the wood wide web. It's made of fungi, tiny thread-like organisms that wrap around tree roots like a living cable. Trees use this network to send each other food, warnings, even gossip. A sick tree might get a sugar boost from its neighbors. A tree under attack, it'll broadcast a chemical alarm. Scientists call these fungal partners mycorrhizae. Think of them as the original Wi-Fi routers, except they run on sugar, not electricity. This fungal network is so strong that a single fungus can connect hundreds of trees, like a forest internet provider. So when you walk through a forest at night, remember, the trees aren't just standing there, they're chatting. And they've been doing it since before dinosaurs existed. In fact, a single Douglas fir in Oregon can gossip with over 40 neighbors at once. Group chat, tree style. Trees like the ones in the Black Forest can sync up their circadian rhythms with neighboring trees, basically having a forest-wide sleep schedule. In fact, some trees, like the towering coastal redwoods in California, can even release chemicals to talk to each other at night. And at night, trees like the quaking aspen in Utah start breaking down stored starch for energy. Instead, they fire up their night shift enzymes, like the ones in California redwoods that repair DNA while you're binge-watching cartoons. And in Japan, 500-year-old cedars on Yakushima Island release bursts of oxygen, like nature's own white noise machine for your dreams. Starches stored during the day get broken down into sugars, fueling the tree's quiet nightlife. In fact, a 2021 study in Finland found birch trees pump sugars through their phloem tubes 20% faster after sunset, like a midnight snack delivery for every branch. And yeah, some trees actually grow more at night. Cooler air means less water lost to evaporation. So no, they're not napping. They're just running on low power until the sun comes back. Instead, they're busy pumping gallons of water up their trunks, like a 24-hour smoothie delivery for every leaf. Those same redwoods in California's Muir Woods start belching out extra oxygen, enough to fill 3 hot air balloons per tree. Owls, bats, flying squirrels, even moths with their tiny proboscises unspooling like soda straws. Trees like the towering baobabs of Africa get to work at night, too. Take fig trees. Their fruit ripens in pulses, like a 24-hour diner flipping its sign to open at midnight. Some trees, like the banyan fig, release a whopping 20,000 tiny flowers at night to attract those pollinators. And owls, they are the night's exterminators. A single barn owl eats 1,000 rodents a year. Trees grow thicker bark where owls nest. It's not hospitality, it's self-defense. Fewer rats, fewer chewed roots. Meanwhile, in the Amazon, kapok trees pump so much nectar at midnight that bats queue up like it's a 2-for-1 smoothie sale. In North America, some trees even produce more oxygen at night, like they're pulling an all-nighter at the office. Scientists in Austria and Finland set up lasers to watch birch trees overnight. Turns out, The branches droop by up to 4 inches by midnight, like the trees tucking itself in. No wind, no rain. Just the tree's own internal clock telling it when to sleep. Scientists tracked a tree in Finland that moved its branches over 10 degrees at night, like it was stretching after a long day. Turns out, birch trees aren't the only night owls. Swiss researchers found beech trees lower their branches up to 4 inches after sunset, like they're doing a slow-motion yoga pose. Even the tiny sensitive plant, or mimosa, gets in on this nocturnal action, folding up its leaves like a sleepy robot. Turns out Darwin was so obsessed with plant sleep cycles, he wrote a whole book on it in 1880. Imagine his notes. "Dear Diary, the ferns partied all night." Again, long before clocks ticked, people looked up, not at the sky but at the trees. People observed that trees like the ginkgo and oak changed with the seasons, giving them a natural schedule to follow. In ancient China, farmers tracked seasons by watching when the mulberry tree sprouted its first buds. Missed the signal. Your silkworm's starved. No silk, no trade, no dinner. Meanwhile, in Egypt, the sycamore fig's nighttime sap flow told priests when the Nile would flood. Too early. Crops drowned. Too late. Fields cracked from drought. And yeah, they wrote it down, on temple walls in hieroglyphs, next to the pharaoh's face. Because when your whole civilization depends on a river, you don't guess. You watch the trees. It turns out, trees like sycamores and cottonwoods can release up to 20 gallons of water vapor into the air nightly. They were throwing a party every single night, one that kept the whole forest alive. Meet the midnight pollinators. Moths, bats, even a few sneaky beetles, all clocking in after dark. While you're asleep, these guys are doing the same job bees do by day, just with way more drama. Some hawk moths can hover like tiny helicopters, sipping nectar with a proboscis longer than their bodies, basically nature's bendy straws. They've got a superpower. They can see ultraviolet patterns on flowers that are invisible to us. Nocturnal creatures like the hawk moth are expert navigators, using UV light to find flowers like the evening primrose. And bats? Oh, they're the heavy lifters. A single bat can pollinate hundreds of flowers in one night. No wonder some flowers only open at night. They are basically bat nightclubs. Turns out, the dragon blood tree in Socotra Island folds its spiky leaves at night, like a sleepy umbrella closing up shop. Some trees, like the baobab, can store water in their trunks, kind of like a built-in water bottle. Some trees even have special nighttime adaptations, like the dragon tree, which seals its stomata to conserve water. In Japan, 700-year-old cedars on Yakushima Island sip fog like iced tea, growing a millimeter taller before you finish your midnight snack. Meet the quaking aspen, a tree that grows in massive colonies, like one giant, slumbering organism. Even when we're snoozing, trees like the quaking aspen are busy, with roots swapping nutrients in an underground network. In fact, a single Douglas fir can pump up to 50 gallons of water after dark, basically hosting the world's quietest, leafiest rave. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful.